It's your pregame for all pregames with your boy. Happy Sunday. Yeah, we shooting on a Sunday today. Yesterday, I just needed a little time to chill, but I'm back. What y'all know about Cream? Instrumental. Let's go. The real hip hop. Tecate Light for you today. Something different. Cold, not sunny day out. Yesterday was decent. Not sunny out here, but hey, what's up? Sunday, Game 7, Detroit and the Cavs. This will be out there. Hopefully this will be your pregame show. We got a lot to talk about real quick. Turn that down. So hey, let's go. Thanks again for y'all joining me another week. Let's talk hoop. So today, coming to you live, SGA, another MVP in the books. This is 2. I gotta get me a new chair. This is back-to-back. He joins an elite group. Actually, more than I thought. Happy for him. Kind of thought he would get it. Wemby, as dominant as Wemby, and I won't say dominant, as good as he's been, that's probably what he's missing. Because of San Antonio and how they play. I mean, the only other MVP you got out of San Antonio is Tim Duncan, right? One of the greatest ever. Tim was kind of dominant. You look at the numbers. And he took it all the way through in the end, championships, etc. So I think Wemby will have his day. He'll have a few under his belt, pending he stays healthy. But this one was SGA's, man. Number 1 team in the league. Probably the best team in the league, honestly. I know they're going to play the Spurs. We'll talk a little bit about that. Luka, injury barred season. Lakers aren't that great, but Luka led the league in scoring. You could argue for Joker. His team battled injuries all year, but I think Joker was in the vote. He's also a 2-time MVP. Probably will get another one before it's said and done. People forget he's still young. I think he might have just cracked 30. But here's a list of 2-time MVPs. Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain. Kareem won it as Kareem 2 times. Lou Alcindor won it 2 times too. Back-to-back, I should say, sorry. Larry Joe Bird, Magic, Mike, of course, Tim Duncan, Steve Nash. You know that one's going to always bother me till I get in my grave. He should not have 2 MVPs. We know one of those go to Kobe, and I'm going to leave it at that. Brian, Steph, Giannis, Joker, and SGA. So elite group. He just about pretty much that locks him in for the Hall of Fame. So you can check that box. He will be there. So that's going on. Other than that, man, it's about these playoffs. So where do we stand tonight? We got Game 7. I'll talk about that one last. The Knicks beat the Sixers, man. The Sixers showed they didn't believe there. As NBA fans, we got cheated. I'm going to blame the Celtics on that. They cheated us out of a great series. The Knicks and Celtics is what we wanted. We did not see a limping. We did not want to see Embiid limping up and down the court, getting in everybody's way. So we really got cheated on this series. The Knicks won 2 games by 30, average margin of victory, 22 points a game. This was like a round. You think about this round for the Knicks. This was a practice round, right? They've been working on something with Cat running this offense, playing a Draymond type role. And honestly, he's been effective. They unlocked this in the playoffs. It's working. They practiced it on the Sixers, and they beat the brakes off of them. That simple. It works. You get Jalen Brunson off the ball a little bit. We know he can score. He averaged 29 this series. It helped. It picked up a little bit for Miles Bridges. Still no OG, but a few more days of rest. We get OG back. He gets another couple of days rest. Thanks to this series going 7, Detroit and Cleveland. So the Knicks, not much to say about that. The Knicks are hot. They're going to go in and play the Pistons. Yes, I said it. But the question is, what do the Sixers do now? Sixers are almost in the same boat with LeBron. And I say that because you got this guy making a boatload of money, and the return is not there anymore. And I say the return as when he's on the court, he plays well. He was, you know what, a lot of courage to get out there with his health, come out there and play in those games. He did his best. He played well. He's a liability on the court. Yeah, he could score some buckets, but he couldn't get up and down the court. He was shooting threes. He scored points, but he wasn't dominant as he could be. when he's healthy and on the court as he normally is. He wasn't that guy. But he's one of these guys that's almost untradeable. Contract's too big, too much of an injury liability. They're going to have to sit down and really redefine his role next year. This is Tyrese Maxey's team, right? After that is VJ, Oubre, which they got to talk about. He's unrestricted free agent, so they got to make some moves on him. But this is a young man's team. Paul George, you resign, you keep Paul George there. Paul George here is what Tobias is to and has been this year for the Pistons. PG came up. We saw playoff P. I think he's accepted his role. He's been healthy. You keep Paul George, get that little veteran there, but you got to figure out what you do with Embiid. Healthy, this team can compete. Embiid take care of himself over the summer. You know, that what he had appendicitis, had his appendix removed. You can't really blame him for that. Things happen. But that doesn't negate the years of being injured and not being on the court. So Sixers have some. So I think Daryl Morey just got fired. So they're going to redo some things, right? They're gonna go back to the drawing board and figure out how to move this team forward and be the Sixers that we all know and love. Another team, OKC, beat the Lakers. We knew this was going to happen. Now, could it have been a different series with a full Luka and a full Reeves? Yes, they get 1 or 2 games. The outcome's the same. They're going home. They just went home a little bit faster. Kudos to LeBron. He had a great series. But again, so like the Sixers, what do you do now? So, as you all know, I'm a beloved Lakers fan. There's Lakers stuff all around this room you all don't get to see. I'm a beloved Lakers fan. And one of my posters has Kareem, Shaq, Kobe, Magic, Pat Riley, and the great Phil Jackson. You know who ain't going to be on there? LeBron. He will never be in a poster with that 5. JJ Redick would never be up there with those 2 coaches. It's going to be a long time before we get another Lakers coach like that, but I guarantee you on my life it won't be JJ Redick. Y'all can call it hate or whatever, it's just facts. Now, what do the Lakers need to do next year to become a contender? Get your pen and paper down. I'm going to tell you what they need to do. First things first, LeBron's unrestricted free agent. We don't even have a conversation of we want you to come back at a lower value, blah, blah, blah. Nope, I'm not going to do that to you, LeBron. You deserve better. I say you go to Cleveland. How do you go to Cleveland? You go out there and give me one of them bigs. Either one. I'd take Jared Allen and put next to Luka. Sign LeBron. Give him a 2-year deal. Trade him off. Throw in his son with the deal. His son has 2 more years on this damn contract. He got a 4-year guaranteed $8 million contract. Next year's guaranteed for $2 million. The year after is a player option. So you can let Bronny go. It'll cost you $2 million. Fine. Eat it. I tell LeBron, write me a check on the back end. But you're going to give me that money back because we gave it to you. So that's number one. You package them 2 up. They go to Cleveland. Maybe a sign and trade, or he can just go, we work on something else. The second thing, you got to make a decision about Austin Reeves. Don't sign him. If you sign him, he does not get a max deal. He showed it in the playoffs, and I love him. I think the world of him, undrafted. He's outplayed his contract, but you are not about to play yourself into a contract, and you just showed that you are another defensive liability on the court. He can't defend either. So I can't have 3 of my 5 are defensive liabilities. And I know LeBron is older, but he's still a liability at this point. He can give you moments of great defense, but he can't give you 35 minutes of great defense. Luka definitely ain't going to give you 35 minutes, and Reeves can't. So I can't have 3 of my 5 guys. Hell, it's been 4 this year because Ayton ain't worth shit either. So it's been 4 to 5 guys that can't play defense. You got Marcus Smart. So what do? Ayton is another one. He's gone. So that's number 3. That's your third move. Don't sign him. He's unrestricted free agent on $8 million. He can go too. Keep Jackson Hayes. Throw him some lobs. Go find you another 7-footer floating around. I'll give you some names. Those are your 3 biggest moves. Who am I keeping? Rui for sure gets to stay. Marcus Smart stays. Now I'm going to tell you, you know what? You worry about Reeves leaving. Sign Luke Kennard. Personal attachment, saw the kid playing high school. Big fan. He averaged 40. He's the second leading scorer in Ohio State history behind LeBron. He averaged 40 2 years in a row. Missed the basketball. The kid can score. Give him the minutes he can score. So if I'm gonna be a liability out there, at least I'm gonna have one that can shoot the three over 40% leading the league. Probably plays a little better defense. At least he's gonna spread the floor and shoot the three consistently. Because with Luka, you need somebody that can shoot. So you keep him, you keep Rui. Rui's role has to be bigger. Rui stepped up in the playoffs. His role he has to have a bigger role. He should be a number 3 guy. I don't know who the number 2 guy is going to be, but Rui could be a number 3 guy. So those are some of the things they got to make. So now you think about, all right, well, how am I feel my roster? Norman Powell is a free agent, unrestricted. Vucevic is an unrestricted free agent out of Boston. Might be hard to get him out of Boston, but he's unrestricted. Kelly Oubre, go snatch him. Kobe White, interesting. He's a smaller guard, but he can score. So if you need points coming off that bench, you need a guy to score. Kobe White's that guy. Now, one of my favorites from Shai, and it's going to be hard because Minnesota's not going to let him go. But Ayo Dosunmu is a free agent, unrestricted free agent. Bulls traded him. He took on a bigger role with Minnesota immediately and had an impact with Minnesota. Put him next to Luka at the 2. There's some things we could do with him. I hate to say this dude's name, he got cut, but Cam Thomas. Maybe Cam just need a new place, sign him for a league minimum or something just to give him an opportunity, but we know Cam can score. And he's a taller guard. 2027 is when you really get some superstars. Tyler Hero is out there. Kuminga, you can go after DeAndre Hunter. So it's stuff they can do, but I'm not locking this team up by signing Austin Reeves and LeBron to big deals because all that's going to do is handicap you for another year. Even with them, you still don't have enough to compete, so why bother? You need to give Luka something that's going to make a difference, and it's going to be very hard unless you can get a number 2 guy. If you could turn that into somebody that's a Giannis or Anthony Edwards, you need something like that if you're going to compete against the Spurs and OKC in the West. It's going to be really hard. So that's how you fix the Lakers. Now, talking about the Spurs, I like them both. I'll be honest. I like both teams. I'm a big Anthony Edwards fan. He's probably one of my favorite players in the league right now. But I like the Spurs too. I like a lot of these guys on the Spurs. The Spurs just got too many guys, man. I was looking at this is what they average in this series. Wemby had 19, Castle had 19, Fox averaged 19. Dylan Harper off the bench averaged 14, Vassell 13, Champagnie 11. Keldon Johnson, the 6th man of the year, he averaged 8 points a game. They didn't even need him. He had one game, he had 21. They needed him it was game 5. He got hot. And then you still got Harrison Barnes and his veteran leadership sitting on the bench. But here's what really makes the Spurs the Spurs. Outside of Wemby, the average height of those guys I just named is 6'6". Castle is 6'6", Fox 6'3", Harper 6'5", Vassell 6'5", Champagnie 6'7", 6'5". Maybe the average is 6'5". That's the key to the NBA. Guys 6'5", 6'7", that can run the floor, that can rebound, shoot, and play defense. None of these guys are a liability on defense, and that's the difference between the Spurs and a lot of other teams in the NBA. The team that matches up with them, and they were able to beat OKC. I'll talk about OKC in a second, but OKC's built the same way. That's the key. I know a couple of years ago I thought Cleveland had it with their 2 bigs. Their 2 bigs, they didn't have enough on the perimeter to go with those 2 bigs, and those 2 bigs had to work double time because the guys on the perimeter were getting beat. Defensively, this is the best defensive team in the league because it's hard to beat them on the perimeter, and if you do beat them, you got a dude 8'9" standing at the rim blocking everything that come by, and he's blocking it at the top of the backboard. So that's what's happening. That's my boy Slim trying to catch a cold before this game. So that's the Spurs. They beat Minnesota. Minnesota, not healthy. They had their moments. Yeah, we had the elbow. Part of the game. Only problem I had with that was all bigs go through it. The big man, they get tired of getting hit. You've seen Shaq throw. You've seen Kareem throw punches. You've seen Olajuwon fight. You've seen Shaq fight. Rudy Tomjanovich. All the bigs get tired at some point. They're going to throw a malicious elbow or punch. He threw it. My only issue was he should have got fined. Suspended, no, because there's star power. Your stars are going to play, but should he have got fined? Yes, 100% he should have got fined. And they didn't even go back and fine him. So, hey, David Stern probably rolling over. Hey, it's a new man's game. That's what it is. So, Minnesota, they don't have to do anything crazy to get back. You lost DiVincenzo, and got hurt. That's a part of the game. They have a tough defense. They're built well too, and they're a little taller. They have a great defensive identity. Again, they have a Rudy standing back there. You got Nas on the wing. You got DiVincenzo. He can play D. Now you went and got AO, which allowed Mike Conley to go. You got Ant that plays defense, like McDaniels, dog. So they have guys that can play, and they're a little bit taller. These dudes 6'7", 6'8". But they just didn't have enough, man. They didn't have enough. They had some games where they played them neck to neck. Anthony Edwards went crazy. But they just didn't. They couldn't go deep enough in the bag to beat them. So shout out, congrats to Minnesota. Next year, I think they'll still be in the mix. But the Spurs are just too good. So now, tonight. Let's talk about tonight. This is maybe the fourth or fifth game for the Pistons. Mikey, shout out to you. I know you're on the road. You might be there. This episode's for you, buddy. Appreciate you. Games, first of all, I'm just telling you now, the Pistons are going to win. Now the question is, why are they going to win? They have the best player on the court, period. And I know people all year have been saying he needs help. Well, he's been getting some help this go around. Tobias Harris has stepped up. They've switched it up and brought this Jenkins kid in. Kind of explosive, smaller guard. But when he's aggressive, he's getting 14 to 15 shots a game, scoring 16, 17 a game. Putting him on side of Tobias, that's taking the pressure off of Cleveland. Can no longer, they've been trapping the shit out of Cade, making Cade turn the ball over. Tonight, Cade has to keep those turnovers to a minimum, 2 to 3. That's it. He can't do anything more crazy than that. 2 to 3 turnovers. That'll get them the win. And that's going to happen because Cade's going to do it because Cade's built that way. Duncan Robinson's been playing well. He spaces the floor. I know they moved him to the bench, but he's still getting their shots. How does Cleveland win if they were to, and it got to that? Cleveland has to play a peak game. And by that, I mean everybody has to be at their best. Donovan and Harden have to 25 plus. We all know this game could define James Harden. We've seen what he does in game 7s, game 6. He had a decent game 6. He had a great game 5. What is he gonna do tonight? I think the old Harden gonna come out, man. I think the pressure light, the bright lights, the game 7. I think Harden is not going to be there, man. Maybe he turns it around, but I don't think so. I think we're going to see the same Harden. And Spider's going to do a lot. The bigs have been inconsistent. Thank God Jalen Duren has been playing poorly. He played a better game last night, the last game, 15 and 11. If he produces like that, because he single-handedly can outplay both of them. Together, those two bigs averaging like 15 a game. A good Jalen Duren night, he can get you 15 by himself. So if he comes out aggressive and he dominates those two guys, this is definitely a win. But Detroit, just play tough defense, stay true to your identity, and you win the game. And I think that's what Bickerstaff's going to have them doing tonight. They're going to come out aggressive. They came out aggressive, what's today, Friday night? You're going to see Cade be aggressive on the ball. You're going to see Jenkins be aggressive. And Durham was aggressive as well. He was putting it on the floor, getting some fouls. So I think we're going to see the same thing. So I think tonight, Detroit, the place is going to be rocking tonight. It's going to be rocking. You're going to see the old Pistons out there, and I think Detroit brings this home. It's okay if they got to fight their way through, and they may be tired going into the Knicks or whatever. They pros. But this is going to be a dogfight tonight, but I like Detroit. I haven't looked to see what the odds on the games are. I'll get one in a minute. But Detroit's going to come out on top of this one. I just don't think Cleveland is built for this game 7 life. I think James Harden is going to disappear on them, and it's going to all come down to Spider, and Cade's going to be ready to take on that challenge. He'll get those minutes. And I tell you what, I almost forgot him. He doesn't do a lot offensively. He had a better game Friday night. He did a little more offensively, but his stat line, Asher Thompson, he a problem, man. Both of those Thompson twins. And I know I wasn't showing them coming out, but, man, I guarantee you this, man. Once he figures out the offensive side and maybe he go spend some time with Lethal Shooter or find him a good guard to go to L.A., get some of those L.A. runs in. But defensively, and that was a foul. Thought I forgot. That was a foul. That game, you don't like to see it that way, but you call it, give him the ball out of bounds, do something, it was a foul. Tripping is always a foul in the league, period. He tripped him, go to the free throw line. So what if it ends on a free throw? But nonetheless, that's where we are. But that's what I like tonight. So we'll see. So with that said, we'll dive into it. But what I see in the finals, so we already know we got the Spurs and OKC. And I know the Spurs beat them, 3 out of 4 during the season? I still like OKC in this matchup because I think, and even without Jalen Williams, other guys are stepping up. And looking at the matchups, I think Chet's going to be ready this round. I think Chet's had enough of people talking about him. I think Chet's going to step up. I think Chet had a great season. I think he's going to be ready for the challenge. And I think we're going to see one hell of a matchup. This is going to be a heavyweight fight between these two. And I was talking to you about the height. So here's OKC, and this is why they match up well. SGA 6'6", Aaron Mitchell 6'4", Caruso 6'5", Cason Wallace 6'3", Jared McCain 6'3", Dort 6'4", 220, a dog. ISO Joe 6'4". They match up well. The Spurs a little bit taller, but here's the difference. I know that they have Luke Cornett. He doesn't play the same as much as Hartenstein and Chet. Hartenstein's going to start. I don't think I'm curious to see if I would start him. I would make the Spurs play toward me. And Hartenstein, I'd let him abuse who was ever sticking him. Pause. But they have 2 7-footers, and they have Cornette, but they don't play them together. Not a lot. Every so often you may see it. So, but I'm going to go SGA and OKC in 7 games. It's going to be a dogfight. But OKC, sorry, Charles, OKC is going to win game 7 in OKC. Now, I told you what's going to happen in the East. The Knicks in Detroit after Detroit win tonight. I'm taking Detroit, and I know everybody is hot on the Knicks, but I'm going to take the Pistons because this is the Bad Boy Pistons Part 2. And they are tough. They're resilient. They play hard. They match up well, right? This is a good matchup. They match up well in this series, right? These teams are built the same. Neither one of them, if Cat plays on the perimeter, that's probably an advantage. If they continue that style of play, it's an advantage for the Pistons to keep him out the paint. That keeps Durham out of foul trouble. When Mitchell Robinson comes in the game, fine, they can deal with that. The key for Detroit is if Cat is sticking Durham, give Durham the ball and get Cat in foul trouble. You could get Cat could have 3 fouls in the first half because he likes to reach. He likes to try to block every shot. He'll get in foul trouble, and this will change the pace of the game quickly. So a lot of this series is going to come down to those two. I think the superstars are going to be the superstars, Brunson and Cade. Hopefully OG is back because I want to see the Knicks at full strength. He could be a problem. I think Miles is the offset, but I think OG, if there is a problem on the Knicks, it'll be OG. And I think that's going to be Asheris Thompson's job, is to match up with OG and try to slow him down. I think Tobias Harris can handle Mikal Bridges. Josh Hart is undersized, plays hard, but I think he's okay. He's not a threat. So that's what I see. So I'm going to go with the Pistons in 7 games, and that's going to set up a number 1 versus number 1. We haven't seen that in a while, I don't think. I have to go back and do some historical fact-checking on that one. But that will give us an OKC Detroit finals, and that's what I started with in the beginning of the season. And that's what I'm going to stick with. Now, everybody's saying Detroit can't do it, but I think tonight Detroit's going to show the world what they're made of, how resilient they are, and how tough they are. And Cade's going to let you know I'm a superstar. He got a new shoe, and he's going to let you know I'm built for this, and I'm going to be here for a while. So Hey, with that, everybody get ready. I think we got a WNBA game on right now. I think it's the Fever and the Storm. I think Seattle Storm. So lock in, watch some hoops, get ready for this game at 7, man. I hope y'all have a great Sunday. God bless you, and I'll see you next week.